Alright guys, it is time for my next old movie review, and the movie I've decided to review is one of the most hated and critically despised movies ever made. And the funny thing is, I kind of enjoy this movie. That's bad. Anyway, hey there guys, what's up? It is Autobot Mike 18 here with another one of my old movie reviews. Guys, I am continuing my streak of doing old movie reviews this summer just for you guys. And as you guys saw in a couple of videos back, I am doing nothing for the next several days until Transformers Age of Extinction comes out. I am doing nothing but making Transformer-related videos just for you guys. I'm doing a little Age of Extinction countdown thing on my channel. And I'm doing Transformer movie reviews, Blu-ray reviews, unboxings, all that stuff. I already explained all of this. And now in this video, the movie Age of Extinction comes out in like 5 or 6 days, depending on when I get this uploaded. But now for this video, I have decided to review the second film in the Transformers franchise, Transformers 2: Revenge of the Fallen. That's right, guys. I recently, last night, rewatched Revenge of the Fallen on Blu-ray. It's been a while since I've seen Revenge of the Fallen. Haven't seen it in years, and rewatching it on Blu-ray was pretty nice. But anyway, Transformers 2: Revenge of the Fallen is the direct live-action sequel to the original Transformers, which was released in 2007. It is yet again directed by Michael Bay, and we have returning actors Shia LaBeouf, Megan Fox, John Turturro, Josh Duhamel, and Tyrese Gibson back for the sequel. And this movie was released in 2009, and like I said in my intro, it is one of the most hated films ever made. People say it is one of the worst movies they have ever seen. And like I said, I kind of enjoy the movie. Now, first time I saw Revenge of the Fallen, let's just get something straight. I saw this movie, I was like 12 years old the first time I saw it, okay, back in 2009. So I loved nearly everything about this movie. Did I feel it was a little bit slow when I first saw it? Yeah, but that was my only problem. Other than that, I loved everything about this movie. I thought it was a perfect Transformers movie. Now, after having rewatched it again in its entirety and realizing, you know, now I'm older, now I understand more about a flaw or two in film, or when flaws are present in movies, I do realize that the movie is more flawed than I originally thought. Nevertheless, I still don't think it's one of the worst movies ever made, or the worst movie of 2009. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. Anyway, guys, with that being said, let's get into the actual review, because I do have a lot of things to say about Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. The first thing I'm going to start talking about, guys, is the premise of Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. And the movie takes place exactly 2 years after the events of the first film, and most of the Decepticons have left the Earth, except for a few that are still remaining and still posing a threat. So in order to take out the remaining Decepticon threats, the Autobots have formed an alliance with the humans, the military basically, and they formed an alliance known as Nest. They basically hunt down remaining Decepticon foes and they take them all out. Meanwhile, the Autobots and Nest know that the Decepticons are plotting something. They want revenge in some way. Something big is definitely coming. And that big thing that is coming is an ancient Transformer known as the Fallen. He has a specific plan. He's very angry at certain events that have happened billions of years ago. And he wants to take his revenge on the Earth. And that is what he intends to do. The one key that the Fallen needs in order to take his revenge on the Earth is, yet again, Sam Witwicky, played by Shia LaBeouf. In this movie, Sam is headed off to college. He's leaving behind Michaela and Bumblebee and his parents. And he is going off to explore the world in college. And he is once again involved in the threat of the Decepticons, because the Decepticons are after Sam. They're going to unleash a global hunt to hunt Sam down. The Autobots have to protect him and find out what the Decepticons are after and what they're plotting to do. And that's all I'm going to say about Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. And that is a very basic plot synopsis of the movie, because I still don't do spoilers, guys. You guys know me. You're safe with me when it comes to spoilers. Anyway, now a lot of people consistently bash the writing of Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. And while I feel that is definitely the weakest part of the movie, and I know people are going to say, don't defend the writers, don't defend Michael Bay because of a certain event that was happening at the time they wrote the movie. Many of you guys may not know this, but there was a writer's strike that was going on between 2007 and 2008, right when the writers were working on Revenge of the Fallen. There was, you know, I guess the Screen Actor or the Screenwriter Guild or whatever were going on strike, and it was just a terrible time, and it definitely messed up a lot of TV shows and movies. And one of the movies that was obviously affected by it was Revenge of the Fallen, in that the writers literally had to throw together the script in a very short amount of time. Michael Bay was getting involved with it, helping the three men who wrote the movie, Alex Kurtzman, Robert Orci, and Aaron Kruger. And they put it together. And another thing was they were trying to meet a 2009 release date in June, which wasn't a smart idea in my opinion. I think they released Revenge of the Fallen way too early. I think they should have honestly waited a while until I think they should have released in 2010 and gave themselves more time to work on the script. Because definitely the writing kind of falls apart in this movie as compared to the first movie. The movie's not as relatable. What's going on with Sam's life isn't as relatable because of the humor and the things that are going on with his wacky parents. And that's kind of the faults of the writing here. The humor, when I first saw this movie, I laughed my butt off. There's a scene where Sam's parents are acting crazy. Well, Sam's mom is acting crazy in college. I thought that was hilarious. There's a scene where his dogs are humping themselves or humping each other in Sam's house. I thought that was funny. I thought, because that kind of stuff is funny to a 12-year-old. Now, I'm older, I watched it last night, and I'm like, the movie, you know what, it's not terrible humor, but it's not that funny either, so, but it wasn't just the humor. So a few plot holes here and there, the movie definitely felt rushed, and there wasn't enough screen time for some characters, and that's honestly one of the biggest problems of the movie, it's the writing. One thing I can praise this movie in relation to the first movie, the movie doesn't have as many plot points going on in the first half. In the first movie, you had like 3 different storylines going on. This movie, it's less jumbled. You know, there's only 2 main plot points going on. You have Sam going to college, and you have the Autobots and Nest trying to figure out what's going on with the Decepticons, and the Decepticons trying to take their revenge. So that's what you have with this movie. So that's one thing I do have to praise this movie. And I also liked the whole aspect that the Decepticons are hunting Sam and he has to go into hiding because they're after him for a specific reason. I like that aspect of the writing as well. Other than that, the movie kind of fell apart for me. Anyway, guys, moving on. One definite minor problem I had with the movie was some of the character writing, and that's going to tie into me talking about the performances. I'm not really going to per se talk about the performances. This isn't a movie with, you know, extravagant performances, you know. You have most of the cast coming back from the first movie, like I already mentioned earlier. You have new you have new actors for this movie. You have Raymond Rodriguez, Isabel Lucas, John Benjamin Hickey, and I never had a problem with either of the... I really didn't have problems with the performances in the movie. I feel that Josh Duhamel and Tyrese Gibson weren't given enough screen time, however. John Turturro never bothered me. Even Raymond Rodriguez never really bothered me. Playing Leo, Sam's roommate, never really bothered me. I didn't really mind him too much. You know, wasn't completely annoying like people make him out to be. But anyway, what was I gonna say? Shia LaBeouf. A lot of people bash him. That they say, oh, all he does is scream no and yell Optimus's name out when it's necessary. Yes, he does do that, but Shia LaBeouf, for me, has always carried the movies and made them more enjoyable than they are. I honestly don't think I would have been as entertained by the movies as I am if it weren't for LaBeouf's performance. He's always carried the movie. Just his mannerisms, the way he reacts to certain things. He has an awesome scene in this movie where he screams very girly, and it killed me. It still kills me to this day. He does it in Dark of the Moon too. But I never hated Shia LaBeouf. I never did. And I always liked him in these movies, and yeah, that's what I have to say about that. I'm sorry, guys. I never hated Shia LaBeouf. I always enjoyed the guy. But anyway, I always felt he carried the movie, and he does in this one too. Keeps it entertaining. Megan Fox, however, she was fine in the first one. I had no problems with her. She's the eye candy. We know that. She's basically there. There's literally a shot of her on a motorcycle, one of the most sexiest shots in a movie I've probably ever seen, okay? That is what her purpose in these movies are. But I feel that she was way more developed and way more important to the story in the first movie than she was in this movie. She's just kind of here in this movie. And it's not even the writing on her character, it's kind of Megan Fox herself. There's a few scenes where she's acting, she's saying a few lines, and it feels like she's just not putting any energy into them. Not really too much charisma. It's like she really didn't want to be in the sequel. That's what was kind of upsetting, you know. And I always loved the chemistry between the two leads and the relationship in the first one that they had, but this one, not so much. She was good in a few scenes, other scenes, not too great. But anyway, moving on, guys. Even the Autobot characters, this was another thing that kind of bothered me. I honestly feel that we didn't get enough of the Autobots in the final battle. I think we needed a battle scene of Ironhide fighting a Decepticon, or Ratchet, or Sideswipe. We literally just got shots of them firing into the distance at the Decepticons in the final battle scene. We didn't get them actually fighting or shooting at a Decepticon, or, you know, going fist fight or whatever with another Decepticon, like we did in the first movie. Ratchet and Ironhide fought off against Starscream and Brawl. This movie, you don't get that. Even in Dark of the Moon, they had fight scenes, individual fight scenes. This movie, no. We saw too much of the military shooting at Decepticons in that final battle, which was also disappointing. We had a great Optimus fight scene and a great Bumblebee fight scene. Other than that, not too many great Transformer fight scenes. Anyway, guys, moving on. It is time to give you guys my rating. I mean, the one word to describe Revenge of the Fallen is honestly, for me, disappointing. It let me down, and it just wasn't, it didn't live up to the hype of the first movie. I wanted a strong sequel, and that's not what we really got with this movie. It's not a terrible movie. You know, this won tons of Razzies. It's called the worst movie of 2009. I don't agree with that. I still find enjoyment in the movie. The middle of the movie is completely engaging for me. Right when Sam has his first class at college, right till the end of the forest fight scene, and even past that, I was really hooked into the movie. Then it kind of took me out of there. I mean, it's just honestly disappointing, but it's not as terrible as some people make it out to be. I still find it mildly enjoying. With that being said, though, I wanted to go 8, but I can't. I'm going to go 7.75 out of 10 for Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. It was just a bit of a letdown from the first movie. It kind of wasn't what I wanted, really. Even Michael Bay and Shia LaBeouf admitted themselves that the movie was a step downward from the first movie. But anyway, getting to the things that I like and always have liked with the first movie, they still did things better with this movie. There was more action, there was more fight scenes, so I gotta praise that. Michael Bay, fault him all you want for using white explosions or whatever, or his directing style, or whatever you want to give bash Michael Bay for. You need, like I said with the first movie, you need a visionary director to direct these scenes, to set up these shots so you can get the digitally insert the Transformers into the movie post-production. And I don't think you can get another director to do it like Michael Bay has. He's given us so many incredible action spectacle moments in his Transformers trilogy, and I always praise him for that. He knows how to direct action. He knows how to set up and frame these shots well enough to get the Autobots and the Transformers and the Decepticons, whatever, into the shot, and that is what I praise Michael Bay for. Also, the soundtrack by Steve Jablonsky is again good. Steve Jablonsky always did a great job with the score. The score I meant to say. The soundtrack, Linkin Park song "New Divide" is featured in the movie. Another song I really like. They had a great soundtrack in the movie. Great action scenes. Really interesting fight scenes. The whole forest fight scene. Well, the scene at the factory leading up to the forest fight scene, I'm not going to get into it. If you haven't seen it, you should have seen it. But if you haven't, I love that scene. That is one of my favorite scenes in the entire trilogy. I just love it. I was watching the movie and I kind of felt depressed. And I'm like, oh, this movie wasn't as good as I remember it used to be. Then that scene happened. I'm like, that is what I love about Transformers. I loved the action in the movie. The visuals were incredible, as they always are. Just they create such visually mesmerizing and breathtaking Transformers, and just to see them on the big screen, they look so realistic. All the moving parts you have to put together to make them, it's incredible. The sound editing, you know what, there are a lot of explosions, but you need good sound editing, and it's always good for this movie. And the cast was mildly enjoyable for the most part. But like I said, getting into my problems with the movie, my main problem, like I said, guys, is definitely the writing. I already mentioned these problems I had with the writing earlier, but I'll get into them briefly again. Like I said, the movie just, they were rushed, okay? And you could definitely tell with the writer's strike, they rushed the whole process of putting the movie together in 2 years instead of what should have been 3 years. And you definitely could tell the humor wasn't as well written. It was kind of immature and just inappropriate, and especially the humor with the parents. I laughed at a few other scenes, but the humor with the parents just didn't work. The whole 30 minutes took the first 30 minutes. I just couldn't get into it. I didn't get into the movie, like I said, until Sam's first class at college, and that's when I finally got hooked into the movie. But then yeah, and then the third act kind of fell apart for me. We didn't get enough Autobots fighting. That was kind of disappointing. A few other disappointing things here and there with the writing. There's a few plot holes. I'm not going to say the story's convoluted. It's really not. It's not that hard to follow, but there's a few plot holes in regards to this movie and the first Transformers. A few other problems I had with the movie. Like I said, Autobots really didn't get enough screen time. And the movie overall was just disappointing. And it just didn't really live up to the expectations I had for the movie. I just didn't feel as engaged as I did with the first movie. You know, it kind of took me out of it. Except for the middle. The middle was just so entertaining, so well written, and very action-packed. And I loved it. Very tense. And I really liked the middle. But other than that, the writing was my major problem with the movie. So that's all I have to really say about Revenge of the Fallen. 7.75 out of 10. I still like it, guys. It's not as bad as people make it out to be. Anyway, guys, with that being said, that is my review for Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. It's just a disappointing sequel that could have been better had they worked on it more. If they worked on the writing more, it would have been a lot better. So, nevertheless, I still think it's mildly entertaining and enjoyable, and it's a decent film. With that being said, guys, if you have seen Revenge of the Fallen, do you hate it like everybody else does? Let me know down below in the comments. What are your thoughts on Revenge of the Fallen? And thank you guys so much for watching my review. I really appreciate it. Stay tuned for more Transformers-related videos coming throughout the rest of this week. Bye, guys.